Welcome back. The Between Stars and Suns, Season 2, Episode 23. Between a lot of shenanigans on stage, and blood, and rebirthing, and just general mayhem. The hunters resolved the King in Shadows last time. So I think that's all we need to really say about that. And it looks like that we have definitely lost Ernest's character, so it's fine. I mean, we wish Sarah well. Hopefully everything's gonna be okay, and we're just gonna continue onward with our remaining hunters, and they have some housekeeping to be done. They have 2 remaining threats before we get to the mastermind, the end game. St. Petersburg Mirror. We have, so many choices. No questions answered on this one. I mean, can resolve the threat by answering who is truly behind the blackmail ring and how are they using Madame Sorokin for complexity 4, or how do you know that not only is Madame Sorokin a true psychic, but currently is only using a small portion of her potential? Given time, what could she achieve for a complexity 6? And then the other question, the side question, is the St. Petersburg Mirror genuine? Complexity 2 can be answered and possibly get the mirror as a reward if this is resolved satisfactorily. Right now, there's 7 clues to be used any way you want. So I'm assuming there's going to be some investigation involved later. And then the beast. Oh, man. I guess I guess that question was answered. And it's just a matter of dealing with Mr. Rawhead. Seeing what kind of mayhem he caused from, during last time. So, and that can only be done at night. Yep. Okay. And then the hunters. Dr. Weiss, you have 4 conditions. 2 conditions. Your shoulder's dislocated, and there are more important things. Liat, you have scheming. And Sir Atticus Wellington-Hughes the 4th. You have... I think there's still some lingering bits.
There's still lingering trauma from
possibly.
Okay.
It would behoove you to possibly sit down with one of your fellow hunters and see about talking about what you've seen.
I'd participate in the vulnerable scenes even if I didn't have a condition.
Exactly.
But okay, all right.
Yeah. So just to be sure that it's gone. Alrighty. And so the hunters we are commencing with day phase, and hunters can get on with vulnerable moves. Just make sure a vice is in play, and then investigation to try to wrap these threats up. Vulnerable moves. Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? Yeah. Just mention a vice in play.
Letting John take the lead here, as John has 2 conditions and therefore has the most drive to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Oh, and I should recall from last time, one of the wishes is, Liat has a secret now of John's, or knows a secret of John's.
Yeah, I would love that scene.
I want that scene.
Let's start with that. You guys do that. That sounds fun.
This is the morning after, or whatever, however you want to set it up.
Interesting. So my advice is comfort the dying. Would that include body parts? I guess it wouldn't because they're already sort of dead.
Mm,
Hmm.
mm, mm.
Yeah. So my idea was that I like John could find me in their chamber, sort of looking and tending to the parts, but they're
Oh,
not dying. They're
Oh
like
my God.
on their way to be
Ah.
living.
Well,
So
maybe. Whoa. Wait. Well, we could have like a classic, trope of John's bringing in his coffee and Liat's there.
if
It's a thought.
if chaotic's okay with that, I'll totally do that.
I'm totally okay with that.
Okay.
John is not, but that's an entirely different matter.
Okay.
Technicality. It's fine.
Well, then I will let you take the scene then.
I think. Oh yeah, I think what just from the night before, I am bringing in like going down into the sort of halls of Hargrave House. Some places of Hargrave House are a little bit weird and funky to get to because uh so like sometimes a bookcase ends up getting shoved a little bit too far to like cover like a hallway or something, or that the paint is just a similar color to create illusions. The house is a maze and a mess at the best of times. But John knows his way well enough to his laboratory. He's walked this past multiple times just to to keep watch. And he has a package from effectively, what's his name? That grave robber, Harley White, to add to his collection, bit by bit, piece by piece. He knows that his work at Hargrave House takes precedence, so he has to rely on others to do his dirty work. But then, when he opens the door, he sees Liat there, looking at his masterwork. And I think, with coffee in hand, the body part and the other in a brown paper bag, I think he just drops the coffee cup.
And I think Liat is sort of, when you see her, she's holding up whatever you sort of contain the eyes in. Maybe it's like a jar or something like that. And she's got her hair braided into a long braid that goes past her butt. I think that she's just sort of in this, like, for her at least, a very simple sort of emerald green tunic dress that reaches the floor. Of course, it's embroidered with gold and bejeweled, but it's a nice little morning gown, morning, like daytime, not like funeral. But anyway, that's beside the point. But yeah, I think that she's not affected by the shattering of the porcelain cup, but I think that she's still sort of holding and inspecting the eyes, looking into them. So where did you get these from? Who, rather, did you get these from?
It, it doesn't matter at this point.
No, I suppose it doesn't. She sets the jar down on a nearby bench and finally turns to John. Well, my dear, you owe me a servant.
Yes, I suppose I do. And like he keeps on etching around the room, trying to avoid any sort of physical contact with you, just so he can put down the bag.
What do you have? What do you have in the bag now?
You've already found out enough about all this. Do you really have to go prying even further?
Yes. You shared something very intimate with me, and I did you quite the service. If it were not for myself and Abdurrahman, well, heaven knows what would have happened to you at the hands of the king in shadows.
I think he slowly takes the bag and presents it to you. Please, be gentle.
She doesn't take it, but she peeks inside. What does she see?
Oh, there's sex organs in there.
Oh my. Will you be putting these to use?
Every body part has a point. You have to be careful in recreating it all. Otherwise, I have a theory that that the person who would come back, my dear, uh, would not come back all right. Just disjointed, sort of, a dysmorphia, a manicness. Every body part is required.
Well, as someone who has an experience with the necromantic arts, I dare say I'm a bit offended that you didn't reach out to me personally to assist you with this masterwork of yours.
I'm not sure. Your works have a cost. This is less of a cost.
Less of a cost is still a cost, my dear.
Everything has a cost. It's just that I know what the cost is. The cost is just body parts and time, whereas yours is more service.
Body parts and time. Oh, it's so naive. You see, once the thing has a life of its own, a mind of its own, and it will, to some degree, have a mind of its own, unless you, of course, know how to reprogram such a thing. Have you taken into consideration the mind of this creature that you are wielding? How you'll control it? Will you control it?
Yes, I put in the effort. I put in the formulas. I know what what I'm doing. I've been working at this for a very, very long time.
Of course you have. And I think she sort of like drags her fingernails across some of the vials of blood that are sort of lined up on a nearby cabinet. So these are the important things. You've been sneaking away. What will you tell Sir Atticus? Does he know?
No. And I would like to keep it that way.
How much would you like to keep it that way?
I think I shall speak the holy words that you seem to understand. And I think John gets on his hands and knees. Please do not tell him.
She takes a moment. She doesn't even look at him. She's still sort of looking at all the things in his laboratory. Things like the flesh terrarium and the anatomy diagrams and all the different sort of the new mechanical new machines that he's built that no one else in London has seen before. And she takes a moment to consider this. Again, still not looking at him, just sort of going around the room. I think the edge of the trim of her dress kind of brushes across his hands. As I told you, I do require a new servant until at least Abdurrahman is repaired. The ritual I performed did quite the number on him. But you could be very useful.
Yes. Unlike Abdurrahman, I have a bit of a voice behind my words.
I have a gift for you.
A gift.
Yes. And I think this is when she presents and it's encased in like a square of glass, like a glass frame. But you see it's like a square cut out piece of flesh, and there's a tattoo of a winged Ouroboros on it. This belonged to someone who, well, wanted power, but wasn't able to achieve it. They made enemies with the wrong people, namely myself. But you, if you perhaps give this to your child, well, consider it a blessing, if you will, an anointment. And I would like to try and use Giveth.
Yes, Giveth works a little bit differently. You do not have to give me like an item at this point. I just have to worship on from at your feet effectively, and I have already done so.
No, okay. Well then, yeah, I think she'll still offer it as sort of like a, sort of a not necessarily peace offering, but as like a, a token. It's almost, I think there's a point of almost narcissism to it, like it's her kind of like stamp on the child. Like you put it in the child is part of me now.
Mhm. I think I
If
take. Oh,
Yeah. If another hunter debases themselves at your feet, they may take the following condition, worshipper. If they do so, they mark 1 XP and you scar your reflection. So long as they have the condition, the following is added to their dawn question list. It is always marked. Did you continue to perfect your worship of the undeniable? And you, Liat, get to answer for them. If you say yes, you mark XP instead of them, then give them something from your personal quarters which goes on their sheet unmarked. So yes, this is an amazing move in the Undeniables playbook. Holy crap. Ah, chills.
yeah.
Chills.
I think as you present the skin for the child, I think John takes it very reverently because I don't think anyone truly knew about the child, or at least what he's gathering these body parts for, ever before. And I think he takes the skin and he rubs it against his face as though he has received the finest, luxurious coat.
Ah, that's dear. You have a full day ahead of you. There are still threats in the city that need tending. Specifically, there's that mirror I've been so interested in getting my hands on. I met with the psychic, the medium, though her power is, well, dubious to say the least. Perhaps you're clever in your own right. Perhaps you can find out more information on it.
Yes, I've already sort of scoped out that place once already. Shouldn't be much trouble to get back in.
Very good. Now, let us make it official. And she sort of just very genteelly lowers her hand with the scarab ring and puts it to your face to kiss.
John will kiss it.
I do love our arrangement. Don't make me regret it now, Mr. Weiss. There are, of course, more important things at hand, and I'd hate for you not to be around to see those come to fruition.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. And I think she'll just, while he's still on hand and knee, just briskly walk past him and without shutting the door behind her, just exit.
Conditions. Liat, do you think you can?
Absolutely not. Are you kidding me?
Okay. I was wondering.
Scheming should be like a permanent condition for at this point.
Oh my gosh. And I'm gonna say, John, that there are more important things can definitely be off the plate because you now have worshiper as part of your condition.
Yes, and I've already shown that my child is more important than Sir Atticus, which is how I originally gained the condition in the first place by making Sir Atticus more important than his child.
All that pales in comparison to the undeniable. It's kind of in the name.
Yeah. Oh my God. Amazing. Holy mwah mwah mwah. Oh, stars already. Oof. Okay. So, loosely involved your vice. I'm okay. It's all right. So, what do you want? Do you want to stumble upon a clue? Leon's already left, so I don't know if she's curious enough to ask you a question later.
I'd be okay to ask a question if you want, but I'm also fine if you just want to find a clue.
Since like we already have like plenty of clues, and I think we'll have a lot of time to investigate, I do want a question.
Ooh.
Okay. Then I think she'll pause, and before she's out of eyesight, she'll turn her head back towards you and ask, "When the time comes, will you give your life to me?"
That is a difficult question. I think the better question is, will I give my life up to anyone? I will give my life up to this project. But if you were to swear that this project will be completed to its fruition, well then I may give my life up to you. Not for you, to you.
That'll do. And she'll keep walking.
Wow. Okay.
Only casual questions from Liat. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Okay. Sir Atticus, while this is going on, what do you
Yep.
think you are doing?
I'm in the Hargrave House Library, smoking up a storm, looking at a couple of plays, just kind of trying them on for size. The chorus roll, it didn't quite leave. So Atticus's approach is, well, it's like exercise. If I just do the exercise enough, I'll get tired and I won't need to be doing chorus lines anymore. So he's just reading through plays. Unfortunately, most of what the library has is like old commedia dell'arte, like Italian comedies. So, I mean, he's trying to read through them.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, Ernest has disappeared and cannot, give you his particular take on any of the old scripts that have been placed there. But
which is also kind of disturbing for Atticus. Part of the reason why he's smoking up a storm is because it was one of the few ways he could lure Ernest out.
Yeah, all of your cigarettes and cigars and such are intact. So
Yeah, like I'm here reading theater stuff poorly. I expected the critic would come out of the woodwork to correct me, but there's nothing.
I will say though,
Okay.
for funsies,
Uh-huh.
as you are smoking there, I think your sensitivity's high enough. I think you're going to feel like as you are smoking, the wisps of smoke start to move, and not by your breath. It's more of a slow push. And then they'll curl in the air, but backwards, as if they're going back into your mouth or into the cigar or pipe, whatever you're smoking right now. And you'll notice that on the table, for just a second, you'll see what looks like an animal skull, ready to take your ash.
Right. That's not here. Okay.
It was here.
It was.
It was.
It's different, but it's not the same. Okay. I'll put the cigarette out and just begin cleaning up. I think I need some fresh air.
And I think the play that you've put on the table, the pages start to move on their own. And goes on to a particular passage that maybe you remember an old friend speaking once.
The name eludes me, but it does sound a little sarcastic. The voice was always full of themselves, always knew a little bit more, was very patient when dealing with me. Also wanted to punch them in the face a lot, frequently, but just a feeling. I don't know. They irk me for some reason.
Yep, that feeling comes upon you for sure as you leave the book and you put out the cigar, pipe, whatever, and head outside.
Okay.
Who finds Sir Atticus outside? Is it Liat or is it John?
Since I still have two conditions.
I would suggest, like, possibly utilizing, I don't know, Sir Atticus's possible field surgery or field medicine, whatever.
I mean,
to,
yeah, if Atticus,
Sure,
if
he's got
Atticus,
some triage experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
if Atticus bumps into John and sees that you still have a dislocated shoulder,
Or like John trying to like re-put his shoulder back and try to use like a wall or something.
so I just walking by your room and I see you awkwardly trying to set your own shoulder back in place.
Nothing could go wrong. I'm not
Good.
going to do it.
Good God, man, have you been like that for hours?
Yes, it's just sort of escaped me in sort of the moment.
All right, I'll go into the room, set down the ashes. Bloody hell. All right. Do you have anything to drink? Do you drink anything aside from coffee?
Yes, just sort of underneath the table. Typically, just keep sort of bottle on nearby for just medical purposes.
These are medical purposes, and Atticus will pull out a beaker and a vial and then pour out drinks for you and him. Cheers. Then after that, he'll get just something for you to bite down on. This will hurt. On 3, I will force it back in. Ready? 1. On 2, he's going to snap it into place.
Yes, I think John just yells and like tries to like scramble away from you, but
No. The pain will pass.
Just natural instincts for these types of things.
Pour out more of the alcohol. That's what the alcohol is for. But aside from the obvious, Atticus just taken this in stride. None the worse for wear. You are here now in this moment. Good. That makes one of us.
So, how are you doing?
Honestly, wish I was back in the void. We left work undone. No idea whether the Duke is going to do well against the beast. One of them is ageless, mysterious, unknowable, and the other is the beast. So who knows how that will go. And then there's this lingering feeling, just this. You were part of the play, more so than I was. Much more so than I was. And it's just hard to get back into today. It's not exactly as if Ernest is around for me to be able to ask how to break out of a role. The theater was never something that my family much attended to.
I doubt Ernest would even encourage you to break out of this role.
True. Always an odd duck, that one. But it's another day. More work to do for Hargrave.
Yes. I myself was planning on investigating that mirror some further.
Jolly good. Then we'll go together. Well, I was going to go to the park and then probably investigate. There was all that scuttling about, as I recall. A touch bit of subtlety will be required, and I do not trust Liat to go anywhere subtly.
No, I think that she would probably go to the park herself to try to draw attention.
Very well. She can have the park. I'll go somewhere else. Perhaps going and talking with the kind lady attendant. She was a friend of the Wellington-Hughes family, after all. But, well, if that's the case, you may feel free to join me on this wonderful escapade. Otherwise, I trust that you have other things to do. You are much busier with, that strange pale man from the other evening.
Yes, sort of a third party help. A very common man just does a little bit of digging up in terms of like hard labor.
Oh, okay. I figured that he was someone in the doctorial profession, similar to that one coroner that we met with the duckling in the skull and all that.
No, he's the one that sort of talks to coroners for me, just in case like any bodies do show up that should take an interest. There's multiple mortuaries in the city because just the amount of the population, it's hard for like one or two to like keep track of it all. So you make friends with literal grave diggers because like they know they have networks and whatnots.
Wow, look at you, a little social spider able to get connections everywhere. Well, if there's nothing else, I bid you a good day, John. And Atticus will turn to leave. Simple as that.
Well, smoking was in play, so do you want to invite a question about your past, or do you want to stumble upon a clue, Sir Atticus?
Yeah, I have a feeling this will be one of the last times we can ask Atticus questions. Ask a question to Atticus.
Oh, conditions, sorry. Yeah. So, fixed your shoulder, so you can definitely get rid of that. And then, yeah,
I have
do you think...
expressed things about the chorus and how I'm trying to get back into the groove of things. Atticus just wants to get back to work.
Okay. All right. Go
Okay.
Take
You
your
may
pick.
ask any single question, and I'll answer as truthfully as Atticus can.
Mhm. What will you do after the beast? Because certainly there must have been something that you were doing before the beast.
Before the beast. John, my good man, there's always the hunt. The beast is simply what my family does. After. Well, I suppose there are two routes. There's the classical route. Alexander wept, for he saw that there were no more lands to conquer. After all, the beast is the most dangerous thing here. Or there are other shores than this. I much rather like that other one. A bit more optimistic. And perhaps spending time in Hargrave House has made me a little more optimistic.
Yes, uh, I I hope that means that there's more than life than just the hunt for you.
No, I don't think there is. He'll get a little wistful for a minute, shake his head, and then head on out.
Yeah.
Also,
I think as Atticus just leaves John there, I think John just puts his like head in his hands, and then I think just sort of the remnants of earlier, of just being controlled, of just being told that people have certain ideas, and just being tossed around as sort of a pawn between members of Hargrave House. A person that really can't see about living life for himself, and the other who lives a life only for herself. And I think like John just takes like the nearest breakable piece of furniture and just tosses it to the ground, smashing it.
Bear. I think when you do that, though, there is a part of the furniture that seems to be hollow, and you find something a little significant. Perhaps. I think you find a particular pin. What is it about this pin that makes you think that this was hidden by Dame Georgie, John?
Because the pin has sort of a ornamental sort of style, sort of almost a signet ring, but not quite. And it says Benbrook Carter on it. John has a dangerous idea. I think he's just gonna wear the pin.
Okay. Alrighty. And Liat, where, before we, excuse me, take a break, where do you think that you go? Excuse me. After you leave John's secret lab.
I think that she heads back to her room, and we find in the room that there is like a large urn, like a earthenware urn, and we see that she seems to be like in the middle of something, some sort of spell prep. Um, but she goes to the urn and she scoops out a handful of black sand, and she begins to lay it out on this table. And we see on the table that there's already some sand still there, and she's sort of forming it into the shape of a person. And if it's okay with chaotic, I don't want it to mechanically affect the child, but I think that while John wasn't looking, that she swiped a vial of blood, and she's using some of the blood to sort of create like a mud out of the black sand so that she can reform Abdurrahman.
Ooh.
Not all of it, just a little bit.
Just a little,
Just a
as
little dab will do ya.
just as a treat.
Quite. Okay, so Dayface continues. What would people like to do this morning or today?
Can I have a reminder of the locations associated with the mirror threat?
Absolutely. Give me a second. Popping into the thread. Okay. And I don't believe, did Mask of the Mirror get used? Hold on, let me just double check something. No, it didn't. So, got another mask that's available to you.
We may need it depending on how resolving the St. Petersburg mirror works out.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so back to Madame Sorkin's seance parlor. I think she's got a standing invite at Lady Cadwallader's house for these seances, so she can get in touch with her dear departed husband.
Okay.
And St. James's Park, which is between Buckingham Palace and Westminster, favored casual rendezvous for diplomats, spies, and those who can tell the two apart, and pelicans.
And pelicans.
I'm going to add a location to this, and I don't care how it is. Remember that little secret spot division department that you guys found last time in the anomaly threat?
Yeah.
It exists here.
Oh.
And maybe there might be somebody here in a younger form that is possible to talk to.
Yeah.
Maybe. So, I'm just saying.
That sounds adequately mysterious. I'm willing to go there.
It is up to you. And just kind of like buzzing through some of these side characters, I'm going to say that, yeah, I mean, like, there's some other spots you could possibly go as well, like the Four Magpies, or, yeah, again, if you want to go to Cadwallader's house or whatever. So, yeah, just take your pick. Tell me who or what you're trying to look into, and we'll figure it out. Yeah.
I'll go to the anomaly organization. If anybody's going to have evidence about whether or not this mirror is actually legitimate or if it's all just Madame Sorkin, they would have information.
Mm-hmm.
Legitimate or Madame Sorkin. Okay. Alrighty. Liat?
I'm gonna have a day walking around. I'm gonna head to the river, the Thames.
Okay. Oh, and again, just be reminded that Cosmic Passage is really another one of your fun moves. So if you want to go do that, that's perfectly fine too. Okay. And then John, where are you going?
Potentially to with Sir Atticus, because Sir Atticus has like a very good idea about like investigating the mirror, and I really want him to be a distraction when we eventually go steal the mirror.
Okay, so you realize that
I'm just hanging around Sir Atticus in the hopes of like, hey, let's investigate the mirror. We go see the mirror again.
And then you want to steal the mirror. You want to steal this large. Isn't it like a wall, like a big person-sized mirror, Mads?
It's basically about the size of like of a person's chest cavity.
people
I
have
love that John just measures things in terms of body parts.
Body parts.
Feels very
That tracks.
Well, because I mean, like, yeah, because Yeah, I mean, it's something that is portable and is usually veiled. Like they'll put a piece of fabric on top of it, so until the big reveals or whatever, then you know what have you. I've always thought of it, and like it's always been described to me as something that sits on a seat, you know, um,
Okay.
behind Madame Sorkin. So yeah, portable.
I mean, Madame Sorkin's kind of like getting up there in years, so it stands to reason if she can move the mirror, then yeah, John, young spry doctor who's skilled in moving cadavers, could definitely move this mirror.
Oh, so okay. All right, then change of plans. I'm going to go steal the mirror.
Okay, so basically,
Mm-hmm.
you're heading over to the seance parlor.
Yes.
Okay, all right, and just so you know, Atticus, yeah, Madame Sorkin's kind of like got a waifish beauty and hypnotic eyes.
Yeah, so if she can move the mirror, then John can.
Okay, just making. I mean, like you made it sound like she was an ancient crone. Thank you very much. Sometimes ancient crones are pretty damn powerful. So anyway,
This is one of those like like Lady Cleo, like I have seen beyond the glimpse in mists, and I see your loved one.
I don't think I
We haven't
portrayed her
talked with
that
these.
old.
We haven't talked with these people in a
Quite some
while.
time. Quite some
There
time.
have been a lot of other threats on the board.
Sure, sure. Oh my gosh. All right, great. Okay. Let's go over to. Let me go over with Liat first. Since you were finishing up or starting to do the Abdurrahman build with some mud. Um, Once you've cleaned up after that, you're walking along the Thames.
Yes. So,
What
uh,
outfit?
um, I think that she's in a men's suit now, a men's day suit anyway. Um, but nothing too heavy. I don't think she's not wearing like anything too heavy, like no heavy wools or anything like that. It's very bare bones. But she's going to the bridge, and she has with her a book, uh, very beautiful leather bound with some gilding, some filigree, very nice. She goes to the edge of the bridge and looks over into the Thames. And clutching the book to her chest, she steps onto uh, the railing of the bridge, and she drops into the river. And as she drops into the river, I'm going to use the move Time and Tide.
Mm,
When you
okay.
seek the Guardian's aid to recover something that was lost or taken from you, offer up something precious in return. I'm offering up a one of my items from my personal quarters, which is a tome of family trees. This tome of family trees is not Liat's. It is actually Arthurian. It is family trees for all the different knights of the Round Table and Arthur and Guinevere, who of course did not beget any children because she became a nun. Um, but So as part of this ritual, I have to sacrifice that item, and I have to roll with vitality as I submerge myself underwater.
Okay.
Does scheming come into play here as a negative?
No. I'm gonna call that like a psychological condition that right now does not have an effect with you trying to make this deal with the
Well,
Guardian.
I rolled a 4.
Interesting. Okay, let's read that move, shall we? So, time and tide. On a miss. The price was greater than you understood. The ritual consumes your offering and your life. What does that feel like, may I ask? As you hear in your water soaked ear the burble, the murmur of the waves and this entity that spoke to you. And I think, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think she's ever spoken with it.
You had, but I mean, like, it was like more of a.
I think that was last season.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Mildred.
Okay, got it.
Um, no, Liat hasn't spoken with it. She just knows the spell
Okay.
because it's in the archives, I think.
Okay.
But I think that as she's pulled under, she does hear the whispers from the Guardian, and she's a decently powerful sorceress in her own right. But she's testing a new spell out. This is new magic to her, and
Okay.
unfortunately, I think that it's a little too new. It's a little too fresh for her, and so she begins to feel like tendrils of seaweed or lakeweed, I guess, riverweed, just different plant life start to reach up and entangle her, pull her deeper and deeper down into the base of the river, where the whispering gets louder, and it's chastising her for even attempting to call upon it for such a insignificant means. And finally, she is dragged under even the base of the river and covered up with river grass, kelp, whatever lays at the bottom of the river, catfish, until she is no more.
Or at the very least, you're probably conscious if your immortality will help you or hurt you down here, as you're essentially trapped as a prize, I suppose, for the Guardian. So, conscious of the whispers, which you will hear forevermore unless you want to turn that back and put on a mask.
I'll go ahead and put on a mask.
Joke.
So on
79. Yeah. Go ahead.
No. On a 79, as above, the ritual leaves me marked by the sea, or in this case, the river. I'll take one of the following conditions: tidebound, someone's call, ravenous, chilling, fear of water, haunted, or something else. I'll let you decide, Mads. But since this is a success, she is intending to call out to the Guardian to bring Guinevere back to her, because this is the, of course, place where she dumped her body.
I think the entity will actually ask you. I know of whom you speak. Do you want the body or the memory?
I think she says in whatever language it's speaking, she just replies, "Give her to me now."
In the darkness of the Thames, as you float there, your eyes adjusting to the water. Current or waves push against you gently and then increase in speed. And as they do, out from the darkness, you see pale, diaphanous fabric, and then the glow of golden hair as it's fanning out in the water. And then finally, Guinevere's face, eyes closed, but suffused and possibly bloated with the time in the water. You recognize her, of course, but again, she is dead still, and her neck has the ring of what you used to strangle her.
So just so
Before you
we're
pushed
clear,
her.
though, I was trying to bring her back to life,
Ah, okay,
resurrecting her.
I see. think we can do that, actually. Actually, yeah, I think we can do that. Your condition is called tidings through time. As her body floats and is pushed towards you, I think there's a shimmer in the water for some reason. And you almost feel like a surprise vibration from the entity as this shimmer happens around her body, and her eyes fly open, and then her face starts to, like, not like I can't remember what the term is, but like, basically thin out, as if it's reversing. She's no longer been in the water for that long, and she almost awakens, and she's pushed by the waves into your arms. She realizes what she is, and she's not going to say anything just yet. You're still underwater, but she just looks at you with wide eyes and in surprise, and like, and then she realizes like she's underwater, and then like, she's starting to
Yeah,
choke.
and wrap her in my arms and start to swim to shore as fast as possible.
Because it's like, we want to pressurize this a bit. Day move. You're trying to get her back to shore before she will drown, essentially. Um, what do you think will go wrong if you fail or lose your nerve in trying to speed back to shore?
That she'll drown and she'll die again.
Right. I think if it goes wrong, the guardian will take her back as an offering. A life for a life. Okay. So you want to roll with vitality here.
And does this tidings through time condition affect us?
No, because it's outside of the entity's influence.
That's gonna be a 7.
Okay, cool. All right. Seven. It's almost as if you are not even focusing on her anymore. You have her in your arms and you are just plowing through the water, trying to desperately get back to shore and also get her into the light. And I think as you throw like both you and her onto the rocks at the edge of the Thames, I think you're going to, both go flop onto your backs, breathing heavily, as you're taking in gulps of air. And I think if you happen to look up, Liat, I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see the smiling face, upside down, of course, of the huntsman. Let's go over to John. John, you're heading over to Madame Sorokin's parlor. It is as we have described before, with the beaded curtains and the rather lavish tapestries, I believe, and the usual trappings of a medium. And there is no one there to greet you. It's almost as if they have gone elsewhere for the time being.
Ooh. I think we see John just sort of maneuver in place, just keeping a look around, peeking around corners just to make sure that no one's looking. And I think John is just going to go over to the mirror and just go yoink it off the wall. I think like he's brought some like sort of a brown paper bag and stuff just so he can wrap it up, steal it on his arm, and just walk on out of here. Like looks like he bought something, or who knows.
Night move. It is covered over with cloth, so it's not like you're getting the full bore of its gaze upon you as you wrap it up in the paper. However, there may have been someone here that you didn't see that's nearby that is tracking your movement right now.
Yeah, Madame Sorokin is just gonna show up right behind me, isn't she?
Oh, it may not be Madame Sorokin. It may be multiple people who have an interest in Madame Sorokin and the
No.
mirror. You didn't think it was just those gang members that you ran into, did you? So, night move, please. Let's see. Yeah, there were peepholes in her parlor, and I think there were people that were watching from said peepholes that are now tracking you. All right, so night move. What do you think will happen if you fail or lose your nerve?
I thought I just said,
Oh, right.
and
Okay.
that was how you were saying, like, oh, the people are watching me, and that's how it's worse than that. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be a huge gang.
Sorry.
So I get to roll now.
Yes, you do. Oh boy. Hmm. Composure to be sneaky. I mean,
Yeah. I don't think I have anything to use for my personal quarters item.
okay.
So. God damn, it's a 6. We're rolling real hot tonight.
Oh my God. Should have set my warnings earlier. Okay. Stealing the mirror. Yeah. And I think from behind you, you will hear a gruff voice say, "Oh, looky here, boys. A little birdie trying to steal away. What's this, a magpie? Stealing something shiny under your little arm there." And then, as you may be slowing down because of the person behind you, I think you will bump into somebody rather large in front of you. And you will have the mirror taken away, and you will be taken away as well. I'm not going to go any further than that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put on a mask.
Okie doke. That brings you up to a 7 to 9. You succeed, but there is a complication. Yeah. So maybe you have figured out ahead of time, like maybe a convenient way to not only look casual passerby that has gone shopping, but also, maybe not to be obvious and right out on the street, or, you escape notice. However, I think sure, why not? I think you pass a darkened alley and you hear very familiar tones of, "Psst, John. John."
I look towards the alleyway. Who is it?
You see the very pale face of Dame Georgie looking out from the alley.
Dame Georgie.
Come into the alley.
All
Way
right,
too
all right.
bright.
Mm-hmm.
I might have made a mistake.
What do you think?
I don't normally admit making mistakes, John.
No, you don't. You also sort of left me a hint back at Hargrave House to sort of catch my attention, and I flicked to the little lapel button thing. Where have you been hiding out?
And he just looks at you with like red rimmed eyes and says, wherever I can avoid getting burned. Of course. I've been a little hungry. And maybe I serve a queen that has other plans for me. And now I don't know if I can create plans to get out.
Sam Georgia, you always strike me as a person that really doesn't know what he ever wants in life. You think that you want power and control, and then once you get it, you have no idea what to do with it.
That's neither here nor there.
I honestly, I'd honestly think that you would have been happier if our positions had been reversed.
True, but regardless. There is a plan afoot. And I can only tell you so much before I have to go back.
Do you have to go back?
She calls. She compels. I can't. I once served one queen with unyielding duty. And now I serve this one with a compulsion that I can't quite control. And this is where he bares his teeth and you see the gleam of his fangs.
Well, if you can't control your compulsions, then someone has to be in charge of you. And be thankful your doctor is here. And I'm just gonna, because I have this in my first quarters item, I have a pocketbook full of needles and sedatives. I'm gonna try and knock Dame Georgie out, and kidnap him.
Interesting. Ooh, this is getting lush. All right, great. Mm, 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 mm.
Is it night move or day move?
I'm gonna say night move. I mean, like, he could just as easily overpower you. Maybe he's eaten, you don't know.
I'm afraid of just getting caught of trying to like knock out a person, like even though he's quote unquote a monstrous vampire. Most normal people won't know that.
Yeah.
So,
Most normal people won't know that. I mean, yeah, that's a good one. I mean, like there's also the one that like, he does overpower you as you're trying to get the better of him and he decides to bite you. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Not complicated at all. It'll be great.
yeah. I'm just trying to help out here, honestly. Like he shouldn't
Sure.
fight against me, but
Eh.
compulsions, just a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm marking my personal course item to gain advantage.
Okay. 3d6 plus. You want to do composure or vitality?
I want to do composure, please.
Okay.
Like, we could also argue sensitivity, but that's the same thing as my composure.
Sure.
Okay,
Mm.
that die is going to jail.
Oh
But
God, what did you get?
I, I, I got a total of a 9,
Okay.
so it's 5, 3, and a 1.
Okay. Still, a 9 is better than fail. So, yeah. Hmm. I think. Oh, hold on. Okay. I think you succeed. Tell me how you do this before I give you a complication.
Like, I've arranged this sort of thing because, like, I know, like, you really shouldn't be carrying like a very large mirror on foot throughout London. So like I arranged like a carriage not too far away from Madame Sorokin's to like pick me up once I'm done the deed. But and so like it's waiting for me. So like it wouldn't be too much trouble to like stab Dame Georgie and sort of help him along as a sort of like a friend who's not doing so well, a little bit ill, and he needs help to get home and whatnot. Uh but I really think that John Weiss is this is John Weiss's problem, really. So he's responsible for Dame Georgie now.
Yes. Yes, you are. And I think. Hmm. Who remarks upon this? I know. I think as you knock Dame Georgie out and you ride away in your conveniently placed carriage, I think the camera will pan to the alleyway and then we hear like clicks as if wood is being clacked against each other. And then an older man wearing a leather apron and with tiny glasses perched on his nose will come out of the alley, look, you know, back and forth, and then remark upon your carriage. I know. Bold move, but had to be done. A pawn is in play. And we'll get you. We'll get you more. We'll get you fed, too. Allow you to become a real boy soon. Sir Atticus, you're heading over to, I believe it's Whitehall, if I'm
That
not mistaken.
sounds about right.
Yeah. Timey-wimey bullshit, and, in this dimension, who the hell knows? But anyway, Whitehall, a bunch of different departments around here, and maybe in your gray matter of a memory, your steps take you here because you recall an acquaintance that might know something about this mirror and about Madame Sorokin.
I let my feet guide me. I just aimlessly wander, just following what feels right.
There are people here. They are dressed in what looks like normal business suits, but there is a particular pin or insignia that they wear on their lapel,
Mm-hmm.
and it becomes more familiar to you as you go. And I think you are heading towards a particular door here, unmarked, no names outside of each one. But then you bump into somebody in your determination to get to a particular door as your feet are increasing in speed, and you bump into a fellow who looked like he was carrying several of those like accordion folders, like attaché cases and stuff like that. Oh, so sorry, sir. Uh, oh,
Not a problem.
need to get this to my commander quite soon. And he starts to pick them up from the floor, and he looks very familiar to you. He's dressed in a nondescript suit, just like everyone else. Seems to be like a junior member of this particular place. Not as social or high in stature, but yet he does look like he could be of noble birth, and he's gathering these cases and just apologizing to you. I'm sorry. I feel like I know you.
You?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. He's got dark brown hair, like a nice trim mustache, and you see overlaid on top of him an image of a stately man, broader than he is now, with salt and pepper hair, a mustache also salt and peppered, and the name Noble strikes in your head.
I extend a hand and give my winning smile. Sir Atticus Wellington-Hughes.
Wellington-Hughes. That's where I remember. I don't know if you remember me. I'm
Noble, yes.
Yes. Frederick Noble. It's good to see you. But you look a
You
little
are in the
different.
midst of delivering some papers to your commanding officer, yes?
Yes.
Let's make sure that they get that taken care of, and then we can catch up, my good lad. Have you eaten?
No.
Wonderful. Let's go drop off these papers.
Thank you. And yes, you perform your errand. You drop him off at his commanding officer's office. Kind of like a big whiskered and mutton chopped man, being really official in his office, which we know from last season that this
office looks very familiar to me.
Will be Mr. Noble's office, much later on in the future. But then again, this is an alternate universe. Who the hell knows?
Now that we've delivered the papers to the walrus, we go get some food.
Exactly. So, what are you doing here? I mean, last I heard, your family was off doing the usual monster hunts and everything.
Alas, there's a particular beast that has come to roost in London.
Oh no! Is this something that I can help with?
Not with that beast particularly, but there is something that might be up your particular area of expertise.
Oh, well, we can't necessarily go out in public, of course, and start discussing such things. I suppose we can go to the commissary downstairs. It's a little bit more private, and we can discuss more sensitive matters. Yes.
Lead on.
And go to the commissary, it's basically just not a cafeteria or anything like that, but I mean it's just like a full on sit down meal in more posh surroundings. So yeah, you get, I don't know, tea, lunch, whatever. And so what particular hunt is your family on now that you would need our help? Usually you are the ones telling, I guess, my department about things to worry about of an otherly nature in London.
I'm not sure how much in contact your organization is with Hargrave House.
Some are dubious of their usefulness here,
Mm-hmm.
as we are also handling such things, but with a more structured and with greater authority.
Yes, authority is very important, especially when dealing with queens and ghosts and specters and the like.
We just want to keep in the know. I mean, it's something that's observable, and we can try to quantify it as
Hmm.
opposed to make it a quality and safety measure, as your house, or Hargrave House, excuse me, seems to do.
Then, qualitatively, how much of a threat do you believe that the spies that have infiltrated London will impact the security of Her Majesty?
He leans in. You must be more specific, sir. Of course, there are spies always about.
The very few are concerned about a particular mirror.
Oh, that.
So that is something that you
it's
know of.
it's rumored it's this whole tie-in with the Russian embassy and
I am familiar.
gifts from across the way and foreign lands, and who can go by rumors these days?
So you haven't investigated it at all, regardless of the potential threat.
We
Blackmailing
track.
ambassadors and the like.
Well, we track what's been said, and we try to trace certain individuals that have been affected, like Edwin and
Hmm.
some other officials, but can only do so much, because without an official presence, or one that we are willing to make more public, we can't necessarily tip our hand, can we?
Wonderful. And that's why you have such a friendly cat's paw knocking at your door, eating in your commissary, drinking this wonderful cup of coffee.
Hmm. Indeed, indeed. I've been lucky to be an attaché. I can only hope to prove myself more in the field later. Um,
Why not today? Why not now? A Wellington-Hughes is never in want of privilege. So why not join me in a hunt? I would like to use in want of privilege to bring along my new bestest buddy,
oh my
Freddie
gosh.
Noble, along with me on these wonderful adventures.
Sure. Okay. Give me the skinny. I should know this move by now. Jesus, we've used it so much.
I
You're
whenever
you're
I am leveraging my name, effectively, are you a friend of the family? Do you want to
yeah.
go on an adventure? Let's
Sure.
go. And I roll with presence.
Okay. So go ahead.
Do I get advantage because he is already predisposed to want to help me?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes,
Presents.
let's go.
Let's go. It's season 2. Yeah.
That is a 6, a 1, and a 6. So that brings us up to a 13.
Great.
So on a 12 plus, let's see. On a hit, they have history with the family, obvious, and they will help you for the remainder of day phase. Any information they give can be in the form of a clue at the keeper's discretion, and any roles associated with actions they help you with are taken at advantage. And on a 12 plus, they whisper something about the beast.
Already in play.
Freddie,
So
buddy, don't worry about it.
yeah. Exactly.
I heard a rumor. No. We don't
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that here, my lad.
All right. So let's see. 4 clues. Oh man, I gotta go back and like try to figure out what I didn't give you guys. All right. Okay. I am looking at this, so hopefully this is not in there and then like my eyes are gaslighting me. Okay. He's going to discuss that certain people have been brought in, has been associated with the Russian embassy and the information that has been scurrilously spread about folks in our department. And it was revealed that certain classified government documents were missing.
Stolen, likely.
Right. So, that is your clue. Classified government documents.
That are missing, or just that there are
That's
classified
just the
government
clue.
documents? Okay.
Classified government documents, you can choose to use that missing part as part of your contextualizing or not. So, but that is the clue.
Cool. And then, I mean, he wants to prove himself in the field. Where better to go than one of the locations that probably hasn't already been visited during this day phase?
That would be the park.
Going to the park with my buddy.
St. James's Park. He'll tell you that it's been said that numerous diplomats and spies will make exchanges in certain areas of the park amongst the pelicans and such. Okay.
Then let us go and scope them out.
Absolutely. All right. So, I'm just going to review this real quick. So, Huntsman's looking down at Liat and Guinevere. Oh my god, Dame Georgie has knocked out... excuse me, John has knocked out Dame Georgie and taking him where? Home?
I'm taking him home to Hargrave House. Most likely my lavatory, so because like that is a secure location.
Well,
yeah.
Somewhat secure.
Somewhat secure, yeah.
Somewhat, like, if any place in a Hargrave House is going to be secure, that's going to be the secure place.
Right. While being marked by Geppetto. Yay.
Is that a condition I get?
Yes, actually it is, because you did get that 9. All right, great.
Mm-hmm.
So, marked by Geppetto.
Thank you.
Welcome. And then let me give you an opportunity to do your thing over in St. James's Park while we're still in day phase. A park between Buckingham Palace and Westminster, a favored casual rendezvous for diplomats, spies, those who can tell the two apart, and pelicans. Paint the scene. This is for everyone. Who do you see taking a promenade around the park, and what are they trying to hide? And again, feel free to put this in the London tab. St. James's Park. Who do you see, and what are they trying to hide?
I guess there are 2 ambassadors from countries that are currently rattling their sabers, preparing for war, but they're off in a small corner of the park, sharing tea and discussing and laughing, just enjoying each other's company.
Okay.
There are 2 very put together young women who seem to be walking side by side through the park. One of them looks sort of dejected, almost sullen, and the other one looks very determined. And as they pass a bin, the determined one pulls out something in a wrapped, swaddled in brown paper, and dumps it into the trash before the pair briskly walk off. And the kind of sullen young woman looks back to it, but quickly looks ahead, and the 2 keep on walking.
Sir Atticus, you would notice this because it's Edwin Belmont in the park who is currently fiddling around with a tree, like trying to up on his tippy toes, trying to put in like a folded piece of paper inside the tree and like nonchalantly walk away. Like this is why he's probably getting blackmailed, because like it's not very subtle.
Poor Edwin. He's trying his best, but he is an assistant.
Do you say this out loud?
I mean, yeah. Poor devil.
And Mr. Noble or Fred will hear you and say, he just has his foibles, we'll say. He had met someone, and he was head over heels for that period of time. Couldn't say enough about the boy.
And yet that doesn't quite speak to his lack of field craft.
He has his skills, but sometimes he can be, well, less than indiscreet. It's all I can do to keep my fiance out of this.
Then we must take caution to make sure that we do not attract the wrong sort of attention. Where do we start? Stalking for me and the like usually involves camouflage, but scurrying about in the underbrush, I don't quite think that'll work
No.
here.
No. It's too obvious. If that can be believed. It's better to just take in the constitutional. Do a promenade and see who you can see.
So we'll take in the sights and see who we can see.
Exactly. And you are welcome to use reason? Yeah, because nothing else works here if you want to do an information move.
Sensitivity wouldn't work. Somebody who's given me a bad feeling. We are dealing with. We are using a magical mirror. There might be something afoot.
Sure.
All right. And I will roll with advantage in the hopes that
yes,
he's pointing things out and saying, "Oh, look at that! Those ladies over there looking at that garbage can." I'm like, no. They don't bother me.
Yeah, actually, that makes perfect sense. So I mean, for me at least. And so, go ahead.
We've come a long way from me just walking into a room and smelling to see if something has gone wrong.
I think there's too many things here to smell. Let's put it that way. Perfumes.
Taking the Atticus out for a walk. Going to the park.
Pelicans. Yeah, sure.
A 1, a 4, and a 6.
Oh. Had me worried there for a minute, man.
So 12.
Yeah. All right. So no more mastermind clues to grab here.
Thank goodness.
So in this case, I'm gonna go ahead and give you 2 clues.
Yes. We are gonna answer this question, and
I'm straight.
Give another day for the beast to not get resolved as we solve this mirror thing.
You can always go solve it.
What? No,
We can always break up.
Technically, I've already stolen the mirror, so like that part is good.
We don't need to answer the question because we stole the mirror.
No,
okay.
We know we could answer it because we have to figure out if it's genuine or not.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, we do.
Georgia could just.
Georgie might just break it and break the world. Who knows? I mean,
or John just stole like a useless piece of glass. So.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
You don't know.
So if we answer the question, we can have access to the mirror right away.
And we don't need to parlay how we get it from her. Oh, we stole it. We're good.
Oh, I have 2 things in here.
2 things that would be good.
Yeah, one of them might hit you in the feels. We'll see.
Ooh. All right. Let's go.
Okay, so one of the things that uh, Fred Noble will point out is that um, he'll point out like two people that look like they're like just having a kind of like a two top-hatted men, like they look like they're um, like
Hmm.
wealthy men, and they're like kind of like just got their big coats on and such, and then they're just kind of like talking side by side, maybe throwing bread or whatever at the pelicans, whatever. And he'll call attention to them because he'll say, it's like, watch, look what they're doing with their hands. And somehow, in some kind of sleight of hand, as they're throwing bread at the birds and just looking like casually talking, somehow you see that they've carefully passed a bundle of what looks like pound notes in an unmarked envelope.
Oh,
That's one clue.
okay.
Yeah. Maybe it slips out of one person's sleeve and then just ends up in the hand and then, whatever. But
Hey, look, birds. And then with the other hand, just passing on this envelope. Okay.
yeah, it's like a very interesting sleight of hand. So yeah, bundle of pound notes in an unmarked envelope. And then as he's calling attention to this and then like also kind of making a mention of like, oh, that looks like Lord blah da da, or that looks like the ambassador for this country.
Hmm.
For some reason, while you're standing there, like, in the trees, kind of just like watching and taking the stuff in, his voice starts to get distant. And then you see coming down the path towards you, you see a pretty woman. She's wearing a pastel dress, quite out of season. Like, let's just say it's winter, because I mean, I mentioned that the guys were wearing heavy coats.
Hmm.
And she's wearing a pastel dress, very light,
Hmm.
and just uh, very well fitted for her. She has a melancholy look on her face, or haunted, you can't quite tell as she's approaching. And she looks like she has uh, hairpins, like decorative hairpins in her hair. As
Hmm.
she comes by and she passes, maybe she looks up at you and then she'll smile. And I think you are immediately like thrust back into a time where you were talking with someone, her, or someone just like her. And she was talking about her experiences in a convent.
Hmm.
And you were telling her about your sister who had been in a convent as well.
Yeah.
But then this person will look full on at you and stop in the path. You hear Frederick Noble still talking, like, still mentioning different people and pointing them out, but he doesn't see this woman. And this woman looks you straight in the face and says, she knows. She knows your secret. She knows you're not from here. What do you say to this woman after she says this to you?
I shan't be here much longer.
And you get the scent of this woman's perfume before she turns away and then disappears down the path, literally fading from view.
Hmm.
Yeah. The
Okay.
clue is actually a spectral manifestation whispering secrets, but you put it in however the hell you want. It's cool. All right, awesome. All right, and that is your clue. Second clue for St. Petersburg Mirror. Let's take this. I wanted to give you a fight, but I mean, I think we want to try to answer questions. We want some time to do this. So
Yep.
let's call it a fade on that. And as you come out of this vision, you see this woman disappear. It's
Mhm.
almost like Frederick comes towards you through her and says, "Are you all right? You seemed like you were far away for a moment."
Bit of nostalgia from time in the park. Perhaps too much fresh air. And I'll pull out a cigarette.
All right, let's head back. Hopefully, I can give you a little bit more information, but no telling. Everyone's being quite tight-lipped about that particular person of interest,
Mm.
and we'll
Don't
fade on
worry.
that scene.
Yeah.
Yep, and then we'll fade on that scene, and then head into dusk phase.
Yeah.
Beast is in play. We don't have to worry about your cosmic passage move.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else has a dusk, right? Oh, except for Resurrectionist, you have to decide.
I have two. I have Resurrectionist and Night Work.
Oh, what are you gonna do?
Not Night Work. Because like we're busy resolving things.
Busy resolving things. Please do. Yeah, absolutely.
I think I do still need to roll Cosmic Passage.
Oh, because it has to be completely resolved before.
It unmarks it, yeah.
Okay. Hopefully you've warmed them up.
I had to say something. why have you done this to me? That is a 5.
The Wahuieta?
I got a
What?
1 and a 3 and a 1.
Oh, for Christmas sake. For Cosmic Passage. 5. Oh, do I need to do this, or you know what I'm gonna say, right? You know what I'm gonna say.
Behold, a person that you hold near and dear to your heart watches the beast murderizes them. I would like to prevent that, so I will put on one of my 2 remaining masks. Narrate a scene where you stumble upon the beast unprepared, but it shows no interest in you and vanishes into the night.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do it now if you want to think on it.
I think as he just waits for dusk to fall, there is just a little bit of a daydream, just a bit of wistfulness in the idea of the beast is powerful. Currently, it is malevolent. It could be killed. And then there's the idea of finding another rawhead and it not being after him. And then just being able to pursue it, being able to hunt it as the beast it is, and just relishing in the hunt again. Or, as John had asked, not, and letting it go. But, like we said, it's just a daydream. He finds himself back at the front door of Hargrave House. Frederick has gone back to the office. And there's work to be done.
Bloodthirsty.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And then Resurrectionist, yeah?
Yes, I will go have them find me a body part and I will face no blowback from them.
Okay.
I made a note by the resurrection list so we don't forget.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Oh, paint the scene about Hargrave House. Oh, lordy. Do we have anything left? That's the question. The kitchen? Really? We didn't do this one? Amazing.
We have 2 left. We have the kitchen and the reception hall.
Hmm. Let's do the kitchen. I always like the kitchen. The kitchen existed long before the rest of the house, having been a part of a pub that stood on the spot before Belgravia was redeveloped to be a residential district. What do you see that reminds you of this fact? The kitchen existed long before the rest of the house, having been part of a pub. And of course, put your answers in rooms of Hargrave House.
This is weird because we've had so many scenes in the kitchen, but we've never actually described what the kitchen looks like.
Well, now here's your chance.
I think it still has the lingering scent of ancient ale and the kind of like char of, burnt pork flesh and very kind of old stew. It's almost as if when you're sitting in the kitchen, these smells linger in the air and they evoke a different time and place, despite the fact that their sources have long gone.
Yeah.
It's one of the few places of Hargrave House that doesn't actually have wooden floors. It is cobblestone, which is sort of the foundation of it, and it leads directly into the basement. The heart of Hargrave House, as it were.
I think that there's a kitchen island and it is a preserved part of the old bar, sort of like the bar top. Hardwoods, rimmed edge to it to prevent spillage. It's nice. It's solid. We use it for cooking and eating and everything in between.
Awesome. Okay. Oh boy. Before we ask what everybody's doing for nighttime, let's look at the threats. Okay, so St. Petersburg Mirror. 10 clues for what exactly? Figuring out if the mirror is genuine, and then you have your. Which one do you want to do?
Yeah. I would like to take a quick 5-minute break, if that's
Oh,
all
yeah.
right.
Absolutely. Sorry about that. So yeah, let's take 5, and then we're back at the 21 mark. Yeah. See you then. Okay. St. Petersburg Mirror has 10 clues on the board. You just have to decide which of those resolution questions you want to answer. With the
Well,
clues. Yeah, go ahead.
So I would like to answer the St. Petersburg mirror being genuine.
Okay.
And I have 2 clues that I think would support that.
Okay.
And I think the way that I would tie this into one of the resolutions is the question I'm sort of leaning towards is who is truly behind the blackmail ring?
Okay.
But if anyone else has any other ideas for the others, I'm open to them.
I would love to hear your ideas.
Well, for the mirror itself, the 2 clues I was going to use were, where are they at? Was in a mirror, a shadow moves, watching them, hiding from view.
Okay.
And then a shadow in the mirror spying dashes out of sight when looked upon directly. So the idea is that the mirror is genuine because there is an entity living within mirrors, within the mirror.
Yeah.
The mirror itself is sort of like this window to another realm, and there's this entity that's able to sort of like spy on people through it. It's not necessarily under, right now it's sort of under, quote unquote, under Madame Shorkin and the Blackmail Ring's control. But they're just sort of employing it to spy on people and get information. But otherwise, it's like an independent entity that's just sort of lives in the mirror and can traverse into other mirrors if it needs to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and to sort of add on to it, there's more evidence of like a body showing up in the mirrors, skin pale, face contorted because it's not showing true reflections.
Mhm.
That sounds cool. So go ahead and roll it up.
All right. Pray for me.
+1.
Pray for me. That's a 12.
Oh, hot damn. All
Yeah.
right, so you are right. The mirror is genuine and can be taken as a reward when the time comes, resolving this thing.
If
All
we
right.
if we don't, if no one chooses it as a reward, does like someone just come and knock on our door and like, please give the mirror back?
Yes, effectively, technically speaking, the Russian embassy gave it as a gift. So if they found out that we have it, that they're gonna take it back. You know
The Russian
it.
embassy just steals it back. Okay, all right. Speaking
great.
of, all right, and then
Okay, so
who's
I
truly behind the blackmail ring?
well,
Mhm.
actually, there's 3 questions, and unfortunately, because of the way my screen is set up, it's like I only saw the 2 at the start. So yeah, you decide whether you want to say what trickery and deceit does Madame Sorokin deploy in order to dupe those who come to her parlor, complexity 4, or who is truly behind the blackmail ring and how are they using Madame Sorokin, complexity 4, or how do you know that not only is Madame Sorokin a true psychic, but currently is only using a small portion of her potential? Given that, what could she achieve? Complexity 6.
So the
And
reason I was going towards 4 was because the idea that this entity is in the mirror doesn't
Mhm.
point to her being like clairvoyant. It just kind of points to her being in league, like a front for this entity.
Ah,
Mhm.
Uh,
mm,
and like the clues that we have now don't really speak to any kind of power that she has.
okay.
Yeah.
So that I don't really have any kind of connective ideas for the.
Here, here's my thoughts.
Go for it.
Okay.
The blackmail ring is using Madame Sorokin, who's using the mirror as a way to spy on people. Uh, uh, this is like we see the mirror's influence because like it has like weird images and it allows it to project itself through like that person that Sir Atticus saw because like that did not look like Madame Sorokin whatsoever. It didn't really look like anyone we've seen before. So like that, and no one else saw her. So like there's some supernatural stuff going on there. But I believe that's just the mirror's like personified because I think it's a haunted mirror. Like,
But
well, we
who
how?
is
confirm.
who is behind it though is the
It,
question.
yeah.
Like we have to
Uh,
figure out.
yeah. I really think it's probably the government. Like, it's probably good the Russian embassy, if truth be told, like because like they're the ones that gave Madame Sorokin the mirror in the first place.
Did we meet her assistant?
Yes,
Yes.
nice lady.
She was the one
She
that
might not be
greeted.
so nice.
She's
Oh,
a brain. You used in want of privilege with her, didn't you?
she's a
Mhm.
family friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she could be a family friend, but she could also be, shady.
Yeah.
Just because
Like,
she's your family friend doesn't mean she's a friend to everybody.
Sure.
yeah, yeah, because like this sort of blackmail ring seems to be very concerned with government secrets, sort of the toward affairs like government employees are having. There's a lot of passing money around at during places of where there's spies at, so it's a government thing.
I think it's so. My alternative theory is that it's the assistant,
Mm.
and she's able to move over places where she's not detectable because she's not it's like she doesn't have the same kind of eyes on her that a government official would have. So she's able to do things like drug drinks, and I think the woman clad in pastels, she could have just been an omen and echo from Atticus's other timeline, which is who I assume that was.
Mm.
But I think that she's the one who knows the secret, and she's been using Madame Sorokin. I don't even think like I and I think like the cunning device to project the image of a ghost. I think she's sort of like a mastermind. She's like she knows how to like make like pepper ghost, like pepper, what are they called, pepper ghosts,
Mhm.
where like you're able to project images. Um, I think that the glimpse into another time or place. Where do we get that from?
I don't remember.
Um,
looking into the mirror.
Mhm.
It flitted through a couple of different like visages, which is why we saw like a body, shadow moving in the mirror, somewhere else, someone else.
Yeah, fair.
So then,
I
go on.
My theory is that it's the British government spying on internal affairs.
Okay.
Like they want to keep their noses clean. They want to make sure like do we have a mole in our midst? So evidence of a torrid affair, classified government documents being sold off, the careful passage of a bundle of notes. Hey, we saw that time that you sold important information. She knows your secret refers to Madame Sorokin. Maybe there's a high-ranking official who is faking being interested in the occult, persistently going on the seances and just using that as a means of getting the information from Madame Sorokin.
What if that count, that Russian consulate guy, what if he's like a counter agent or like a double
Oh,
agent
A
yeah,
double?
for the
Yeah.
British government?
yeah.
Okay.
Ooh. Orlov is
Yeah, that's the guy. Maybe
Yeah.
he's like a double agent for the
double?
British government.
hmm
So the
Yeah.
British government is using Madame Sorokin to get as much information as possible. The blackmail, unfortunately, when you go digging for secrets, some of your own dirty laundry will come up. They're like, okay, we got to deal with this. We're going to shut down anybody who's possibly a leak before someone like the Russian embassy decides to take advantage of them.
hmm
It hurts, but it needs to be done. The glimpse into another time or place is necessary to get any old dirty laundry up to a certain point. The cunning device to project an image of a ghost is we have to sell it. If somebody decides to follow along for this high-ranking official, like, why are you going to see Madame Sorkin? She could summon ghosts, specters, and then the pepper ghost thing shows up.
And maybe the cunning device was like financed by Orlov on the low. Like it was obviously financed by the British government, but like,
Right.
you know,
It's a really high quality device. Like
yeah.
someone
Yeah.
like
They
Madame
needed something that
Sorkin.
like that needed to sell it, not like some like
Convincing.
Madame Tussauds shit. Like they needed something that was
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
high end, top of the line.
And
I
then
mean,
the
if
drug. Oh, after you.
just to note that, I mean, like, if anything, I mean, like, having Orlov being the double agent means that, like, he has the backing to be able to create like these weird effects, but then also he can tattletale back to the bosses and say, this is the people that were willing to give you up, for
Yes.
cash or whatever favors, that the Russian embassy
Mhm.
could grant them and such.
Yeah,
So,
and
I mean,
he was the one that directly gave the mirror to Madame Sorokin, so
right.
And she's just a cat's paw. She is
Mhm.
literally just it could have been any other medium, any other person who had a front.
Ooh, maybe the torrid affair is between her assistant and Orlov. Maybe the two of them are like in cahoots, and like she's essentially Sorokin's handler. Like she's the one
Ooh,
who keeps her in
Nice.
line. But
all
like
right.
she's like she's like the in-between person between Orlov and
Mhm.
Sorokin, because Orlov obviously can't keep tabs on her constantly, so he needs someone on the inside.
Okay.
And being her assistant. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
What
right.
about the drug drink?
I think it was just like
Another bad thing that somebody did, I assumed.
yeah, like like in the circumstance, like we were getting pretty close to this situation of like revealing the truth, and like one of our drinks almost ended up drugged, and we almost drank it. So like that they know that we know, sort of types of deals.
Do you remember
So
where we got that, or was it like a?
I thought the idea was we just pieced together the clues,
Oh,
however.
I think, yeah, exactly. I mean, like, you contextualize, it doesn't matter like where you find them necessarily, but I will say I believe it was when Atticus and John went to go talk to Edwin directly in his
Mhm.
office, because he
Mm.
was talking about, like, taking a drink, tasted funny, and he woke up and then, secrets
yeah,
were spilled.
Maybe that's when he visited Madame Sorokin's, and homegirl, the assistant, drugged
Yeah.
his drink to
Ah,
get more
yeah, yeah, yeah.
secrets.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
Yeah, I also remember that the affair, I think that was just Edwin's affair. Like that was just his dirty laundry,
But I
honestly.
still
That's
love the idea that Tanner and
yeah.
Orlov could be like, like hooking it
Yeah.
up. So this way they're keeping tabs on Sorokin, so this way she can be the front for the mystery,
Mhm.
the whole,
Yes.
Yep.
mystical thing.
It's so
Like you said, she's a cat's paw.
mysterious.
She's like pawn.
Yeah.
She's just like a figurehead. Like maybe a figurehead, like just like a spokesmodel.
Right. 5,
Yeah.
6, 7. So okay, so which one is it? Which you're going to
Number
do?
2. Who
Number
is
2.
truly behind the blackmail
Okay,
ring?
okay.
The British government. How are they
Okay.
using Madame Sorokin? As a cutaway cat's paw. Like,
Alrighty.
she is unfortunately being handled by her handler, who pretends to be her assistant, who is in
Right.
league with the Russian double agent. This is all right. This is a pretty cool threat. I like the spy stuff. That's neat.
Okay, so basically it's like a +3
Mhm.
Ooh.
using all those clues, the 7 clues that are left. So yeah, +3. Who's rolling?
I've not rolled well tonight.
Go for it. Go for it, Atticus.
Okay. All right.
+3.
Watch, I roll terribly, and then I have
Stop
to use Master of the
it!
Mirror, and then I have to
Stop
mark
it!
Blood-Soaked Portal because
Stop
it's.
it! Oh my God! Stop.
Don't worry, it's 6 plus a 5 plus 3, so 14.
Okay, awesome.
Ooh.
The mastermind.
I
machine.
mean,
The mastermind.
right. Well, I
we
mean,
get
like,
another mastermind clue.
No,
We're
she gets to show
mastermind
up.
appears. Yep.
She
Wait,
gets to
hold on.
show
Yo,
up.
what? No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, technically speaking, it means the mastermind is directly involved with this threat, which is just very, very funny to me.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. It's spy intrigue nonsense with an actually magic. If she steals that mirror, we stole it fair and square.
It's our grave house.
It's what has
Alright.
that stopped her from showing up?
I'm going to be
It
so
feels very
mad.
appropriate though, like an evil queen trying to get a hold of a magic mirror. It was
Mhm.
very, very
Yeah.
in brand.
Yes. Okay. Fair point.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have to be weird in this particular threat, but she gonna make it weird because,
What do you mean?
Okay.
Because it didn't seem like, well, I mean, like the mirror itself is genuine, but I mean, like, everybody else surrounding the mirror was like, kind of like just regular.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know? Yeah, like more mundane than the actual object, which was great. So of course she's gonna be like, no, I think it's my turn to step in and get this. Yeah, that kind of thing. So given that, what is everybody doing for night phase?
I don't know.
I have a stinger of sorts because it's like, I'm gonna say that even being chased by the Duke of Blood, I think Tommy Rawhead did get a chance to kill again, at least one person, if not more, while you guys were dealing with King in Shadows. And yeah.
So we rolled really well on answering the question.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
does that mean that it's open and shut? We actually have to do something to close out the case? Or
Yes.
Specifically, resolve the threat by dealing with the power behind Madame Sorokin. I think this is just taking out her assistant, honestly speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But hold on, because of the role being so good, I'm gonna handle this a little bit differently.
Can we call in Whitehall and just have them handle it?
Well, one of the things that I was planning on doing was, because obviously like all of next time will be just like straight night phase.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that because the role was so good on this is one of those things of like interspersed with the unseen. One or whatever, one of you could narrate like in between the unseens, handling this particular thing just through narration. It doesn't have to be role played out or anything, because the rest of you, or only Sir Atticus, however the hell this works, will be dealing with the beast.
The beast. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to deal with the beast tonight.
Yeah. So, wait, tonight? What?
No, not real life.
On the night,
this
the night phase. Okay, got it. Yeah, so therefore, like, rolling really well like this was like awesome, because then again, all you got to do is like pretty much do a quick narration on solving the St. Petersburg mirror, narrating like how you take care of the assistant and Orlov or whomever, and then just straight out dealing with the beast, So that gets around the whole idea of like, oh shit, we got to do two things. No, you can split up still, or one person just handle one thing. That's fine.
I can 1v1 the beast, guys. Don't worry. It's cool.
You'll be fine.
I'll be fine.
Sure.
I have so many unmarked items in my personal quarters. You have no idea. I've been building up for this. I'm ready.
You're hoarding it. Great.
Yes.
Great. Brain. Okay. So because of that, just let's decide who's doing what for next time, because I kind of want to wrap up tonight with just a quick, like, how are we handling these things? We've got John kidnapping Dame Georgie. We've got the hunter. We've got the huntsman staring down Liat and Guinevere. And then, well, Atticus has like been the most mild of them all. He saw a ghost, and then it was just like, well, fuck. Back home I go. I mean, but
I went out. I had lunch.
You had lunch.
I researched things. It was
like Liat almost drowned. I mean, like, Jesus Christmas. All right. Okay.
But that's, I guess that's where I'm kind of like having a difficulty right now, because like I don't know what the huntsman is going to do or what's to do. So like I don't know what to say that I'm going to do. You know what I mean?
Yes. So probably like figure out how I'm gonna resolve that. I don't want to make it a dream, but I also want to make it a dream.
This isn't saying elsewhere.
No, I know.
Okay, since people are just faffing about with deciding things, I'm going to decide for myself. John Weiss is gonna sort of put Dame Georgie effectively tied down to a slab in my laboratory. Just say, you know what, I'll be back in the morning. Don't you worry. I'll fetch you some blood that you can drink and whatnot, and we'll figure it out how to free you from your compulsions. But in the meantime, you'll be safe here, locked up here. And then I'll go with Sir Atticus to hunt down the beast.
I think as you're looking up into the the smiling face of the huntsman, I think Guinevere will stir next to you, Liat, and she will turn on her side and say, Why did you do that? Why did you kill me and then bring me back?
It's a rather tender subject, my dear. But perhaps, and she looks at this large burly man with an axe in his hand and says, perhaps a conversation for later then.
Actually, when you turn to look at Guinevere and she asks you these questions, I think you'll realize that the huntsman is gone.
Yeah.
And let me see. Your condition, Liat, for this is marked by reverie. Do you answer her questions?
I think it's a conversation for the night phase.
All right, so yeah, I want to know what Liat plans on doing during.
Well, now that there's no huntsman that I have to deal with, I'm just going to take Winifred back and we're going to talk. We have things to discuss.
Wow. Mm-mm. Do you have your mask of dissociation ready yet?
No.
All right,
I will have it
making a
next
note.
time.
Mask of dissociation. Okay, for Liat. John, did you? I know you treated the skin with the Ouroboros tenderly.
Mhm.
I forget whether you did a memory of it or not.
The skin of the Ouroboros technically does not qualify to any of my body parts
Okay, all right,
because it's just skin. I need a full limb, effectively.
got it. Okay, just making sure. All right, cool.
It did count for one of my dawn questions, however.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
goodness skin isn't specified on the child. That would be horrifying.
Oh man, it's great. Okay, so we know what people are doing for night phase at least right now, and then resolving any Janus mask. Nobody else has anything, and then we're gonna get Jack's, Liat's mask later. Unseen. I did pick out one actually. Give me a second. I thought I did. All right, we're gonna do Billingsgate Fish Market since I don't seem to have it marked. Okay, and that will be. Let's see. I'll read it off at the. No, you know what? I'll read it off now. The fish market at Billingsgate, within the bounds of the city of London itself, is the largest in the world. Even in the dead of night, is a hive of activity as the porters, traders, and fishwives prepare for the return of the trawlermen before the sun rises over the Thames. Stalls are scrubbed ready for the day's catch, and lamps lit on the wharves. So we've got first prompt. Let's get that to chaotic. Second prompt. Let's see. We'll give that to Jack. And then third prompt we'll give to Mike. And then paint the scene as everybody. Okay.
Oh, I do owe a mask, however.
Oh, okay.
I owe a mask of the past.
Okay.
Narrate a flashback at the time that you had a terrible fight with the person you lost. I think we see currently John sort of tightening down on sort of like the restraints on Dame Georgie in his laboratory and sort of brushes the hair out of his face and sighs a little bit sadly because he remembers sort of a scene similar to this back in his younger years. I think it was a very early morning. He was getting out of bed, putting on his clothes and whatnot, sort of sneaking out where his beloved was still snoozing, still sleeping very gently, and he brushed the hair out of his face. But unlike the current predicament, the person sleeping wakes up. John, where are you going? And John just whispers, shh, just go back to sleep. Don't worry about it. And Dimitri just goes, no, come back to bed. You don't have any place to be. You don't have work tomorrow. Really, where else you could be? And John just says very curtly, I'm just going home. And Dimitri's like, well, no, your home's here. Your love's here. Do not go back to that awful woman. John, she does not treat you well. She is a worrisome mistress at best. And John just snorts and says, but I am married to her. She is my wife. And I think that just sets Dimitri off to just this sort of starting to get louder and louder. This argument about who you truly care for. And by the time John is fully dressed and ready to go out, he just slams like the bedroom door shut, storing it out for the day.
Thank you. All right. So we're looking at night phase next time. Full on. Finish this up. And see the end of both remaining threats. Oh my god. Okay. Stars and wishes. Holy crap. We may actually end on time.
Giveth on a hunter.
Yes!
Jack, dope.
Damn!
Like,
So dope.
Like, and then giving the skin, which honestly one of the grislier things in your personal quarters, but to the perfect person for it. Very, very nice touch. Trying to think. Chaotic, you did really well in terms of like showing John's inner turmoil in this session. Like, John's going through it. John is trying to like be upbeat, like when Atticus is around, but at the end of the day, John's kind of a mess right now. And I think you're doing a very good job of like conveying that without being overwrought. So it's a fine line. I think you're doing great. Mads, thank you for another wonderful session. It's just nice to be able to engage with the callbacks, and I see that you enjoy them a lot, and then you respond in kind with a different callback. So it's good. I appreciate you playing that little mini game. Wishes, kill the beast, and then determine if like I stick with Atticus or not. Because if we're dealing with the mastermind, I could probably stretch to survive for the mastermind, but there's that tiny thing where I sort of promised Liat that I would become her servant after we dealt with the beast. So like I don't quite particularly want to do that.
I mean, like Abdurrahman's still being formed. I mean,
yeah.
And there's the dab of blood now mixed in there. So that could make for a very interesting difference.
In terms
Well, I
of
mean,
like
you could
how
still be
Durmont
Atticus. You could just be the factotum.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I could do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
that'd be
Jack's
cool.
been building for that, I think. I mean, like, it seems like that anyway, so...
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, the idea was that, like, you don't have to be a Abdurrahman. You could just be Atticus.
Oh, yeah, no, that's dope. I thought that Atticus had to go away, and they'd be like, okay, I am Abdurrahman now. Hello.
Still do it, but I mean, like, you know, however you want to do it, but...
No, that's cool. I didn't know that, like, the same person could just change playbooks like that. Heck yeah. Wish. Resolve the beast and then maybe become a factotum. Who knows?
Crap.
Yeah, Mads is pretty flexible on the rules with that.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Oh man, I gotta give a star to Liat because I was not expecting Giveth, but like I was like, "Ooh, where we're going."
I was hoping for it. I don't know if you saw me dancing, like sitting here.
Yeah. I also I of just like, hey, what will you give me for me to keep this secret from Sir Atticus, who you have totally no normal feelings about? And then Sir Atticus of like, hunting is all that's important to me in my life, and I'm like, John was like, why? Why are you saying like things like that? Come on.
Oh God, this is so heartbreaking.
Like, am I just chopped liver to you? Oh. So,
but John doesn't know. John doesn't know.
And Atticus lacks the emotional intelligence to realize.
Yeah, it's very true. My God, himbo. God damn.
God. God damn.
Mm,
Also,
mm.
star for Mads of bringing in the mastermind stuff. I love this mastermind so much. I love her servants. I'm very excited that I got to kidnap Dame Georgie to put in my laboratory. Yeah. So we're gonna have a perfectly all right night face. Nothing's gonna go wrong. We have it all set up. We're doing very well in one threat, and like we're gonna team up on the other. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, yeah. Um,
Mads immediately circle something.
that'll be great. That'll be wonderful. Yeah. So, yeah, that'll be great for next time. I mean, I just have to say, building up on all of this and then just seeing like, oh my God, we're at the end. What the fuck? At the end game. Yeah. And I just realized it's like, I knew, but I didn't know that I painted myself in some serious ass corners because it's like I'm just realizing I made a list of all the servants that this mastermind has, and it's beautiful, but also scary. So it'll be great. So, stars. I want to give a very special bursting star to Jack because every single time that we've been in an episode and Liat has like a vulnerable move, but I mean, like, she's snarky about it, but yet there's also some very pithy things that she says. It's wonderful, and it's a beautiful testament to your improvisational skills, or maybe like you've been building up like I do when I do some of my characters. It's like you think about it like in between, but I mean every single time it feels like Liat is coming from an immortal place, giving her 2 cents on her views and how she sees the world, and it's always very wise but also very um, sad because it's again like very cynical or very pragmatic, and it's like, oh wow, that's somebody who's been around the block way too many times. Holy crap. And it's great. I love it every single time. And yeah, I mean, scheming just fits, but I mean, like, I know there's a more genteel term for it. I just can't think of what it is right now. And I love her.
I'm fine with it. I love it.
Yeah, I love her. I love her for it. I mean, it's beautiful. So, um, yeah. And then Atticus, just I'm so going to miss this character if like he dies before the end game. God damn. We've lived with him for 2 seasons, and well, no, a season and a half because you came in the middle, and it was still great. I mean, like, it's been great. And then like, you saying yes and to the whole dimensional shift thing, time jump, blah blah blah. And yeah, there is a reason, and I don't know if you realized it. There is a reason why all these callbacks are coming now. Please remember what one of the servants is.
The oh no. The time aliens. No, how could you do this to me? Okay. Ah, jeez, we're gonna have to deal with that. Oh,
Yes.
ah,
There's
jeez.
many things you guys will have to deal with coming up. So, and I will be glad to bring them all back. It'll be great. Okay. And then Georgie. I mean, not sorry. Well, there you go. So, and John. Yeah, when you said you were going to kidnap Dame Georgie, I was like, I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised. And it's great. Damn. I'm curious to find out what you're planning on doing with Dame Georgie. But
Well, it's not every day that you get your hands on a vampire.
that's true. That's true. Kind of dead ish. We'll
Kind
see.
of, kind of an in-between place. Wonder how his flesh works. Wonder if I can harvest something from him.
Yes, There you go. Yeah. Alrighty. Very cool. Um. Oh God. Wish it. Well, yeah. But let's see what night brings and how you guys like finish off these threats, and then I need a week to figure out what the hell to do for my mastermind threat. I know sort of what it's going to look like, but it's going to be complicated. I will say that it is totally off the beam from where we started from. I will say. I mean, like I told Ben already. I said this playtest isn't a playtest anymore. It's like I've just been pretty much like riding this mastermind like a stolen car, and yeah, just taking her all over the damn place. All right, great. So, wishes. Yeah, let's finish off the remaining threats. Give me a couple of weeks to do the mastermind threat as the twofer, the two-shot finale, and I have to say goodbye to these characters. Oof, that's rough. Okay, so you know what? I will give you a stinger.
I haven't done my stars or wishes yet.
Oh,
Oh.
I apologize. I'm so sorry.
Great, we
I
got
thought
too
I-
excited.
We did. We were like kind of like stepping and overlapping on each other. I apologize, Jack. Sorry. Go ahead.
It's all right. Yeah, no, I'll make it quick because I know we're getting late. But big star to Chaotic because I wasn't sure if Giveth was going to be the right move then, but you sent a little thing in chat saying, saying, "Hey, it's okay" or whatever, and that so like get Star, you gave me the opportunity to do it because I've never seen that done before, and I very curious to see how this plays out. My wish, I guess, is to have two servants in Hargrave's house. Uh, everybody working for me. I love it. Yeah. Other star to just like the sort of snowball effect of going to steal Amir and then, stealing Georgie, and now you've got an old man and a puppet on your tail. It's I'm very curious to see how. And this is also part of a wish. We really want to see Geppetto and Pinocchio pop up for the night phase. Like I want to see that come up against John, just because I think it'd be funny for him to fight a puppet. Atticus, my himbo hung, always a good time. Very clever use of sort of callbacks yourself, like going to Whitehall and getting young Mr. Noble. Yeah, I won't be there for the beast for you, but I'm rooting for you to a degree. um, if you do happen to die, you've always got a place at my side. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing that go down because I did, with Mads running it, no, it's not just going to be like a beat 'em up. It's going to be a little bit more emotional, a bit more. It's not just going to be like very cut and dry confrontation. I think there's going to be stakes there that I'm looking forward to seeing play out. And then to you, Matt, yeah, your mention of, because I totally forgot about them, the time aliens. Like now that you mention it and like having all these callbacks, like fuck, like that's really good. That's really good. And it's very subtle too, because it's like, yeah, we see it happening, but at first I was thinking it was just an effect of Sir Atticus being there. But like you mentioning it and us remembering the fact that no, she just has a couple of little aliens who can fuck with space time. Yeah, no, that's gonna be interesting. And I'm looking forward to see how that plays into the mastermind threat. But yeah, that's about it for me.
Yeah. Another wish for me. I'm very looking forward to Geppetto because, like, I know a little bit of Geppetto's original story from the threat, from the mastermind a while ago, and it really echoes John's story, and I'm just like, ooh, oh, that's so good. It's gonna be fantastic if it stays the same.
We will totally see. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I want to see John beat up an old man and a puppet.
just reiterating that you want front row seats to
Yeah.
Lies of
100%.
P. Okay.
I mean, if it
Basically,
doesn't,
yeah.
obviously, if it doesn't, it's gonna happen at some point. Because let's see, hold on. Okay, so I will just give you a meta hint of what's coming for the mastermind threat. Keep in mind that the Queen of Hearts has 6 servants.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, we're doing a boss rush then, I guess.
Yeah. And I'm not even counting correctly. Like, I'm counting a group as one. So, who knows? This will be great. This will be wonderful.
Oh, I could get 2 masks back after the beast. Okay.
We will make you survive.
Okay, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So speaking of which, Stinger, before we completely end tonight, I think in a darkened forest with tinges of red smoke in the air, there's a pathway leading to a clearing that looks like it has alternating light and dark colored squares. And the Queen of Hearts sits there on a rosebush throne, baring her fangs, tasting her fingers, as if she might have had a recent kill or a recent feeding. And she looks over at the huntsman, who just nods, and his axe gleams with some dark liquid. And she stares at the board of light and dark squares in the clearing. There are figures there. On her side are interspersed with nameless people and fairy tale beings, with some people that we know possibly have forgotten about, but will remember again. And on the other side are representations of faceless, shapeless pawns. And then behind those pawns are figures, effigies that have a very passing resemblance to Liat and Sir Atticus and John Weiss. And then, almost as if an invisible figure has moved or pushed one of these life-size pawns into place, a voice calls out from opposite the Queen of Hearts. Your move, as the play is the thing. And we will end there for tonight. And I will see you guys next Friday. Damn. Let's finish this shit off. Whew.
Let's
Alrighty.
go.
Let's go. Happy gaming for between now and then. See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.